This presentation will be over the enchilada. So the history of the enchilada. Enchilada has gone back for a very, very, very long time, and it actually was not a Mexican dish. It started as an Aztec dish. So it is well known in Mexican culture, but they have been around since they were taken from the Aztecs in the seizure of Tenochtitlan. I hope that was close. As time went on, enchiladas slowly started to become an American dish as well, where Tex-Mex cuisine, Texas and Mexican tastes mixed to become one dish. For the culture of the enchilada. Enchiladas have long been a standard dish for many natives of Mexico, enjoyed by families all over the country and often eaten in many countries as well, since it is a Mexican staple. Like here in America, we eat them on a regular basis. Where it's this big melting pot, we have multiple people of different ethnicities, different cultures all coming together, and Mexican culture is one of those where we'll just go out every once in a while and enjoy something like an enchilada or something from their culture. So enchiladas are also known to be a Mexican street food, which every tourist needs to experience on a trip there. For the nutrient composition, couldn't really do the whole enchilada, so we did refried beans, which are pinto beans. 1 cup, 260 grams, that is 234 calories, 5 grams of fat, 35 grams of carbs, 13 grams of protein, 10 grams of fiber. And then the pinto bean is actually, fairly healthy with some other nutrients and minerals like 20% of our iron daily intake, 22% magnesium, and 14% zinc. That's all for the daily recommended intake. Its relationship to disease, like mentioned earlier, we have fiber, we have all the minerals that are healthy for us. So beans, like I just mentioned, does have a wonderful thing called fiber. Fiber as well as magnesium are great ways to promote heart health. In addition to the heart health, fiber also is very good at regulating our bowel movements, stuff in the digestive system, help keeps us more regular. And the gut is actually very important for us. It's not known by many, but gut health is super beneficial to us living, and fiber can help us with that. So pinto beans are a very good thing to be eating on a regular basis. Ingredients of the enchilada. Ingredients like enchiladas and Mexican food in general is very subject to the person eating the food, and whoever is preparing the dish will likely make it different than the next person. It's all based off of taste. One person feels maybe they don't like this ingredient. One big ingredient that many people find controversial here in America, we do a lot of rice inside of a burrito or enchilada. But in Mexico, they do not like rice. They see it as a filler and does not need to be there, especially when it's on the outside of the plate as well, because generally you'll have rice and beans. So then it's already there and there's no reason for it to be inside the burrito. They would rather have more, maybe peppers, cheese, beef, chicken, or anything else besides the rice. So in my corn enchilada, I had beef, cheese, and refried beans. It was covered in a chili pepper sauce that was absolutely divine. It made the dish. The way to tell if these ingredients are of good quality is if the establishment is well put together and the price of the meal is slightly above average. You don't want to be going for the absolute value meal for Mexican, but slightly above the average, and you should be able to tell a little bit better, especially if there's other people there. So, and you also be able to tell the freshness of the beef and the pepper sauce, since it's a vegetable, and it will start to taste a little funky if it's left out too long. So agriculture wise, so pinto beans are grown for around 90 to 150 days. A lot are grown in Mexico. This is why the refried beans are there. So they need the heat and are sensitive to the cold. Right there along the equator, where it's always hot, is a good place for pinto beans to be. So therefore, long summers are the best time to grow these beans. The pinto bean is such a widely used bean that the growing operation that makes the legume it has no problems keeping up with demand. We should never see a problem with pinto bean. As much as it is eaten across the world, we are able to keep up because we know how popular it is, and we have made this business very big. So compared to other grown foods, pinto bean is actually fairly sustainable. The carbon footprint is very low, The destruction of the farmland is low. The only problem with it is there is a moderate amount of water used from the growing operation. The taste. So, like I mentioned, I'm not really fond of corn tortillas. I've never been that kind of. I'm a flour person through and through, but I do enjoy Mexican. It's not my favorite, but one of my favorite cultures to eat from. But I did enjoy the dish, even with the corn tortilla from the enchilada. I liked it, especially the chili pepper sauce. It really kind of brought the dish together. The dish alone without the sauce, I mean, it's covered in sauce, so it's kind of hard. But you can imagine it's slightly bland. You just have cheese, some refried beans, and beef that usually isn't super seasoned. But with the sauce, it adds a slightly spicy, a little bit of spicy, along with a sweet pepper taste, and it really brought everything together. And unlike a traditional burrito you get on the street, like a street food in Mexico, it's all well put together, no sauce on the outside, everything's on the inside, so you can hold it nice and neat. The enchilada is meant to be enjoyed with a fork, since it is covered in a large amount of sauce, usually smothered. So here's the picture. As with many dishes from Mexican culture, the food is covering the entire plate. I mean, just no room left. But luckily for all of us, the ingredients taste great together, so there's no worries about them being mixed. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You have the rice there with it. You're going to get some in it that they don't want it in it. They want the main stuff. They want the beans. They want the rice. They want the beef or the chicken inside of the enchilada, and you get the rice after. So for my comparison of cultures and social experiences, I feel for the most part my culture and the experiences I've had with the enchilada are similar to Mexican natives. Obviously, it's not exact, but I feel that I've seen it enough times. I've seen it around me. Where we're this big melting pot, it's there in our culture as well. It's not our culture; it is still theirs, but it is something we experience on the regular. So American culture, like I just mentioned, is a melting pot with many other cultures mixed in it. With that being said, taking a trip to a Mexican restaurant can be a weekly tradition for some families. And this allows many people to gain insight and be slightly involved with Mexican culture, even though they're not from Mexico. And here are my references.